My name is Tushig, and this is the first of 6 episodes on how to get started on learning how to code. Today I'll be teaching you all how to get all the tools ready for you guys to code quickly and effectively. The first thing you'll have to do is go to your web browser and go to code.visualstudio.com. This is where you'll download the main application in which you will code. Visual Studio Code is a great app for beginner coders because you can run your code from inside the application itself, and it tells you the errors and problems in your code. Okay, so after you finish downloading Visual Studio Code, you should open it, and the screen should pop up is like this. Visual Studio Code, editing involved, yada yada. Go to the top left. This is where your files and folders will be. It says no folder open, right? So the first thing you have to do before you do anything on here is go back to your desktop and create a folder in which you will put all your coding files in. So I created a folder saying first code. You can name it anything you want. You can say code first, beginning code, stuff like that. Okay, so after you finish creating your folder, go back into Visual Studio Code. You say open folder here or here. You can click anywhere. So I'll click it there, open folder. You go to desktop, right? Okay, and then you find your folder, and it says first code here, right? Okay, I double click on that, and voila. You're in the coding window now. Okay, so the first thing you'll do is look at these buttons right here. These 4 little buttons are really important. This is to create a new file, okay? So if you want to create a new file for new code, you click on here, folder. This is for you to organize your stuff. So if you have a lot of coding files, you can organize them into folders and move them. This is to refresh the Explorer, so if your code isn't working, you could try refreshing, and it might work sometimes. I'm speaking from personal experience because that's happened to me too. Okay, so I want you guys to create a new file and name it hello-world.cpp. I already did this right here. CPP stands for C++, which is what most people learn as their first coding language, because it teaches the beginner coder how code works, and so tells you the basics of coding. Okay, so it's the reason why I made you name your new file hello-world.cpp is because whenever someone learns a new language or is making a new coding application, you have to say hello world first. So I'm going to teach you how to say hello world. Okay, first I'll just write it for you, and I'll explain what each line does later. So hashtag include IOStream using namespace std int main curly brackets cout hello world more arrows and L and return 0. Okay, so this is as basic as you can get in C++. This is as basic as you can get, and what this 7 lines of code does is say hello world. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you what each line does. Okay, hashtag include IOStream. Lines beginning with a hashtag sign are used by the compiler's preprocessor. In this case, the directive hashtag include tells the preprocessor to include the IOStream standard file. This file IOStream includes the declarations of the basic standard input-output library in C++. IO as an I as an input and O as an output. Okay, using namespace std, all the elements of the standard C++ library are declared within what is called a namespace. In this case, the namespace with the name std. We put this line in to declare that we will make use of the functionality offered in the namespace std. This line of code is used very frequently in C++ programs that use the standard library. You will see that we will make use of it, most of the source code included in these tutorials. Int main. Int is what is called the return value. I will explain more of it further down the line. Every program must have a main function because code is made up of a bunch of functions. The main function is the point where all C++ programs start their execution. The word main is followed by a pair of round brackets. That is because it is a function declaration. It is possible to enclose a list of parameters within the round brackets. Now, the two curly brackets right here are used to indicate the beginning and the end of the function main. Everything contained within these curly brackets is what the function does when it is called and executed. In the coming tutorials, you will see that many other statements make use of curly brackets. Okay, the three things that I just explained to you before is the basic format of code. So when you write essays, there's an MLA format and such. Code has that too. So this is the basic C++ format. Okay, now we gotta discuss what's inside the function and what it's doing. So cout hello world. This line is a C++ statement. A statement is a simple expression that can produce an effect. In this case, the statement will print something to our screen. Cout represents the standard output stream in C++. In this sequence of characters, hello world will be sent to the standard output stream. In most cases, this will be your screen. The words hello world have to be in between the quotation marks because the quotation marks will not be printed on the screen. They indicate that the sentence begins and where it will end. Cout is declared in the IOStream standard file within the std namespace. That's why I put those two there, because if these two aren't there, then this doesn't work. Okay, and end line here, ENDL stands for end line, which basically gives hello world its own line, because if ENDL is not there, then it'll be stuck on the left side of my name right here. It'll print here. When we run the code, I'll show you. And return 0. This is very important because this is just telling the code just run it once and end the execution, or else it'll say hello world again and again and again forever. Okay, now that we have explained what each line in the code does, let me show you all how to run the code. Okay, before you run the code, you have to click on here and open your these four things should pop up, and go to terminal, and now this is where you will run your code and where the output of your code will be shown. But before you do write anything on here, you have to go to here, this little cube thing, and install these two things, C/C++ extension and C++ IntelliSense. This will make your coding experience way faster and way easier. I highly recommend them. Okay, and after you install these two, go back to terminal, and then you have to write this G++, and then the name of your file. This is basically telling your computer to say, it's telling your computer to run the code. After you do that, it compiled it, meaning, okay, now it's ready to run. And then after that, you write ./a.out. This is what's going to tell your computer to show me the results. So press enter. Look here, it says hello world. You see that? Wow, isn't that amazing? Okay, now let me show you all what happens when I remove ENDL. It's going to pop up right here. I'm calling it right now. So each time you make a change, you have to do the same thing over again. G++ hello world.cpp. Okay, it's compiled. Now go back to ./a.out. Look, it says hello world here, right? It doesn't look that nice, does it? That's why I added ENDL. It makes your output look better. Okay, this was the first episode on how to start coding, what you have to do, and the process in which you have to run. You have to do in order to run your code. So it's the first episode. I hope I see you for the next episode soon. Goodbye.